Hi, welcome to another episode of 6 Cents Out of a Nickel. If you're new to this channel, please introduce yourself in the comments below and tell me what you may like about this video or how you think I might be able to improve. I'm here to serve you. Thanks. Resilience is something that I learned almost accidentally. As a kid, I was teased a fair bit, and I had to learn not to take that personally. That took a lot of doing because I was a very sensitive kid. So I did take a lot of it personally at first. And I was constantly told, you have to toughen up. You have to toughen up a little bit. You can't take things quite so personally. That was easier said than done. I couldn't understand why the teachers weren't stopping these kids from being so mean to me. And that persisted for a long time until I finally got to a point where I really just didn't care anymore. Like I saw people going what I perceived as the wrong direction, and I was just determined not to follow them in that wrong direction. And if that meant that they were going to make fun of me and they were going to try and treat me mean, so be it, whatever. Today, people don't seem to have that, and it's really a shame. If you learn that lesson early on, maybe not quite as harsh as I did, but then you don't have to learn it later. And I think a lot of people are actually learning some very hard lessons now that maybe they should have learned a long time ago. Now, just to back up a little bit, this discussion was kind of born from a discussion that I had with a friend of mine who is like one of these anti-vaxxer type personalities. But regardless of our differences of points of view, we're still very good friends. And that's one thing I like. I like talking to him because I can get some perspective as to see what the other side might be thinking, what he's thinking, what people like him might be thinking, so I can understand them better. Because that's what I want to do. I don't really want to blindly, debate like you're wrong and I'm right. I want to hear what their points of view are and why they feel the way they feel. And maybe once we get to the root of the problems, maybe we can find resolution to bring us all closer together. Anyhow, I got sidetracked a little bit. Basically, he shared with me a video that Pierre Poilievre, the conservative leader of Canada, had shared when he was at an airport. And he's basically priming up to become prime minister. He wants to become prime minister. And so he's like basically starting his campaign way early, rallying his troops, as it were. And he was, saying he was there to catch a plane, and the plane was late, and that planes are always late under Trudeau's watch, and he was blaming all kinds of stuff on Trudeau, and that just made me think of back in the days when I was a kid and I was being picked on, and I expected the teachers to come to my rescue, and I couldn't understand why the teachers weren't doing their jobs, why the teachers weren't doing the things that I perceived that they should be doing. They should be there to protect my safety, to protect me, shouldn't they? As it turns out, I was mistaken. They're not really there to guarantee safety. They are to a degree, but not to the degree that I was expecting. They're more concerned with the macro issues of making the school, making their class, making everything else run properly. And something that my friend said is that things look very different when you're on the bottom than when you're on the top. And I suppose they do. Obviously, he's not doing as well as he would like. I'm actually doing maybe a little bit better than I would had ever expected. Not that I'm doing exceptionally well, but I'm doing okay, which is really good. Let's face it, working at a hospital, the pandemic lockdowns really didn't affect me much. I still went to work, came home. I don't really have like an active, bar life, social life outside. So that didn't really bother me. As far as like food shortages, I've always kept an inventory of some kind of food here. So there was never a shortage of anything to eat. Maybe selection suffered a little bit, but you know, that's to be expected, whatever. So it really didn't hit me very hard. Him, on the other hand, he owns an automotive shop. It really hit him hard. Things really kind of uh, took a downward slide for him, and it causes people to have a different perspective when their whole frame of life is totally different. But I would always prepared for some kind of a downturn. There was a saying that was coined by a financial guru long before the Game of Thrones TV series had coined it. Winter is coming. The addition to that was winter is always coming, and the best time to prepare for winter is in the spring, which makes a whole lot of sense. So I've been constantly preparing for a winter of some kind, and I didn't think it would happen this way, but I've always prepared for a winter. I guess a lot of people didn't, and I guess that's why they're in the headspace that they're in. They're just expecting the government to fix things for them, just like I did when I was a kid, and and I was getting picked on, and I expected the teachers to protect me. But that's not exactly the way it works. You have to protect yourself to a certain degree, and you have to make all the right decisions to be able to get not necessarily ahead, but keep your head above water. And that takes a certain amount of practice. There's a certain amount of practice involved where when you're younger, if you have the low stakes dangers, the low stakes crises, and you learn how to deal with them, and then eventually, as you get older, the idea is you build up to higher and higher stakes problems, and then by the time you get to a certain age, maybe encroaching upon old age, um, you're very resilient at that point. There's a lot of resilience built in with you. You're unshakable a lot. I've noticed that a lot of things that shake other people to the core don't really shake me very much. Now that doesn't mean nothing shakes me. Don't get me wrong. There are things that still do shake me, and I really have to work on trying to be resilient. But I've noticed there's a lot of people right now. They're more than willing to blame a political party, an individual, a company, a person, a thing, and they're not willing to kind of go, hey, wait a minute, life just happens sometimes, and maybe I didn't prepare for it, and maybe I should learn from this experience. Even when things run smoothly, sometimes I'll put myself in difficult situations in order to figure my way out of it, to learn something new. And I guess that's what a lot of people haven't done over the last, 20, 30 years. Um, we've been used to having like all green lights, everything kind of going our way somewhat. And the minute that things go sour, or the minute we come against a tricky situation, we don't know how to deal with it because we haven't dealt with the low stakes issues and the low stakes problems, and worked our way up to the higher stakes problems. The good news is it's never too late to start building resilience to the difficulties and challenges in your life. Um, Mind you, if you're starting now, you picked one heck of a place to start, because things are pretty rough right now. Rents are absolutely ridiculous. Home prices are insane. Grocery prices have gone through the roof. Utility prices are on the rise. Financially, nothing's really in the favor in the right going in the right direction. That's for sure. And socially, we seem to be breaking down to this camp or this camp. There's really no in between. But the good news is it's never too late to start, and that's really the message that I want to get across today. It's not too late to start. It's not too late to pick something and not let it bother you as much anymore. To not take it personally. Just as I had to learn the lessons when I was younger, no matter how old you are or how young you are, it's not too late to learn the lessons now. You just have to change your frame of mind instead of, all right, things are bad. What do I do about it? And that's all you need to do. What do I do about it? Just don't try to fix all the problems all at once. Pick one Pick one manageable problem that you know that you can solve if you put your mind to it. And then just put your head down, grind your way through it, and the lessons you learn from that will be you can apply that toward the next problem, and so on and so forth. Now, eventually, you're going to be able to look back and go, "Look, I've solved 7 or 8 problems now. This is pretty good," and you start to feel good about yourself. And as you start feeling better about yourself, then things start looking better, and you feel a little less apt to blame somebody or blame something. You're now in control of your own life, which is really where you want to be, isn't it? I think there's this perception that life is supposed to be easy, like there's not supposed to be any challenges or things in your way. That you're just supposed to be able to go through life with all green lights. And that's not the way it works. And that's what makes resilience so important in your life. Any one little victory is still a victory in the right direction. And then you can build on that. As you build on that, you'll gain confidence. Things will turn out a lot better, I promise you. And soon you'll be unshakable. Nothing will bother you after a while. So go out there, get that started, find that little problem that you know you can solve, work your way up, and I hope that works for you. I hope that's something that I can help you out with. Maybe inspire you to improve your life and not depend on other people to make your life better for you. Anyhow, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for more content. Thank you very much. Until next time.